it's interesting. I think this year we're going to work with probably over 100 different companies. Majority is around 80% of our work we're doing is in VR, AR, XR, MR. Pick the R's, but all the R's, yeah. And so we've been working with Alan and his team at Metavrse for probably 6 months, but it feels like a couple of years, I think.
It feels like forever.
Yeah, so one of the exciting things, and part of the reason I'm happy Alan's here, is if you do the Google searches and all that, I think you started talking about this, I don't want to date you too much.
3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago. And he's been at a lot of conferences talking about it. He's on a lot of influencers lists for VR, AR.
I spoke yesterday at the restaurants conference. Now I'm in the screen industries. You got to flip hats.
Yeah, and I think that's important. This platform is everywhere, not just in the media entertainment industry. So it's actually quite the spectrum of it. But yet the knowledge and the knowledge, the creators, the storytellers are from the media entertainment industry. So on that note, I'll turn it over to Alan.
We're noticing a lot of, actually on that note, we're noticing a lot of creators from other industries. DJs are coming on board, creators, filmmakers. Everybody's kind of, they put the headset on, they go, oh my God, this is the next thing. And that's exactly what happened to me in 2014. I was at Inventors Camp, put on by Eric Schmidt from Google. And I was there in this Boy Scout camp. There's no cell phone service, no Wi-Fi. And I went into this little dark tent. And there was a TV, and people were putting this big, clunky headset on. I was like, what the hell's that? Put it on, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And I was on stage standing next to Beck, and I had this aha moment. This is the future. This is what I want to do. So that was my introduction to VR. And I think as more and more creators have that aha moment, they really want to get into the medium. So my name is Alan Smithson. I'm the CEO of Metavrse. We're North America's leading virtual and augmented reality consulting firm. We also build products, so I'll show you a few of those. And then what I want to do is walk you through the business use cases of VR. And I'm going to hammer through this. There's 140 slides, and I have 30 minutes. Go. My previous life, I invented this touchscreen DJ controller for called Emulator. We worked with Infected Mushroom, Armin van Buuren, Linkin Park. We worked with Heineken, Microsoft, Hyundai. We even built it into the back of a Hyundai. So very blessed, and that's how I got invited to the Curiosity Camp. That's how I got into this. We put our daughters in coding camp when they were 8, 9, 10 years old. And my youngest daughter, who is now 13, invented sandals that leave a heart-shaped tan line on top of your feet called the Love Sandal. So she's one of the world's youngest entrepreneurs, and we're really excited about the future of that. Based on everything we taught her, I've created my new mission and purpose in life, and that's to inspire and educate the next generation of young entrepreneurs to think and act in a way that is socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable. So with that, everything that we're building at Metavrse over the next 3 years will be used to create an education platform and an education paradigm, and it will be called the Unlimited Awesome Academy, and it will teach things like positivity, mindfulness, gratitude, surrounding yourself with great people, but also marketing, sales, financial planning, investing. These are skills we don't teach in school. We're going to figure that out. So moving on, again, as I mentioned, we're North America's leading virtual and augmented reality product company. And over the last 21 months, we've worked with a ton of different companies. We were just named top 10 up-and-coming startups to watch in 2018. We were nominated VR Startup of the Year globally. Last year, we were named Tech Week's Top 100 Rising Startups last year, and we're founding members of the VR AR Association. Some of the clients you may recognize, but rather than kind of get into that, I'll show you a quick video of some of the stuff we've done. So yeah, that's some of the stuff we've done in the last 2 years. Looking at this technology, you've got to take it from the very beginning. So you had the printing press, which revolutionized human communication. Then we had radio, television, the internet, mobile, and now we have virtual and augmented reality. And so what you're going to see is that none of these ever went away. We still have radios, we still have televisions, we still have computers, and we're always going to have cell phones. But what it's going to be is another way for us to communicate. It's just another communication method, but it is going to be the most immersive one ever. And we're going to have to learn how to start programming in 3 dimensions, which is I'll get to in a second. Virtual and augmented reality, I'm assuming, how many people have tried VR here? Just show of hands. So everybody? So virtual reality is when you put a headset on, you're in a different world. Augmented reality augments the world you're in. Mixed reality augments the world you're in context, knows it's the floor, knows this is a table, knows your people, and then can change you. So I can put on a pair of glasses or a phone, point it at you, and change everybody here to Minecraft characters. Or Brad Pitt, or whatever I want, whatever filter I choose, but I can change all the faces in here. So that's really interesting about how mixed reality is going to participate in this. So mixed reality is really interesting because it's using the context of the world around us to give us back. So it's collecting as much data as we're projecting back on. So the leaders of this industry are obviously the biggest companies in the world. They really, really believe in this technology. VR will merge with AR and become part of everyday life. Facebook's mission is to put 1 billion people in VR. I feel that augmented reality is perhaps the ultimate computer. You know, that's Satya from Microsoft. Sundar from Google. The next step will be the very concept of the device will fade away. So instead of having a device and a phone, it'll just be a pair of glasses and our world will just be augmented. And I regard augmented reality as a big idea like the smartphone. It's for everyone. It's huge. That was Trump. No, I'm kidding. It's Tim Cook from Apple. And Tim actually was here, not at this location, but the other Sheridan location recently. It was the first time an Apple CEO had been in Canada in about 25 years, I think. So very honored to have them come in and see what we're doing here in Canada and take an interest, which is really exciting. The market opportunity for VR and AR is massive. Over the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to go from where we're at right now, which is about 7 to 10 billion, up to 108 billion in 2020. That's the kind of best guess estimate right now. About 60% of the market will be consumer-driven, so video games, live events, entertainment, and the other 40% will be industrial and retail and healthcare, engineering, that type of thing. Big, big market. Citi Financial estimates that by 2035, V-commerce, or virtual reality commerce, will represent $1.3 trillion industry. If you look at the evolution curve of technology, we are literally at that precipice where evolution goes straight up. And one of the reasons for that is that all of these technologies are coalescing together. 5G, cloud computing, edge computing, Internet of Things, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, virtual and augmented reality. When they all come together at the same time, you have an explosion of technologies, and they're all working together. So if you're making VR and you're not thinking about how AI can interact with it, you really need to. And one of the things they're doing here at Sheridan, which is really amazing, is they're looking at the future of virtual avatars and virtual humans with respect to how can we create a realistic looking human that is AI driven, that can have a conversation with you in the virtual world. It's very exciting stuff. I'm going to bang through this because I know you guys have an education in the afternoon, but I just want to catch everybody up to the same speed here. These are the headsets. I'm going to bang through them quickly. So Google Daydream, Samsung Gear VR, they are 3 degrees of freedom, meaning you can look up, down, left, right, but you can't move through the scene. Okay, that's 3 degrees of freedom. 6 degrees of freedom allows you to look up, down, left, right, and then move in those directions. So you can actually move through the scene. And it's a really important distinction between 360 video and then volumetric video, which I'll get to in a sec. Standalone VR headsets, these all have front-facing cameras and they can all let you move around. The two there, Oculus Go and Pico Goblin, they're 3 degrees of freedom, meaning you can look left and right, but they're all built in. No computer necessary, no phone strapped in. You literally just put it on and it's a purpose-built headset for VR. And this is going to change the way consumers interact because you can just pick up your headset, do whatever it is you want to do, put it down, and you don't have to worry about loading it on the phone, and my message is going to pop up. It's a pain in the butt. And they're cheap. Oculus Go is $199. US. So that's like 500 Canadian. Mass consumer VR, so this is where kind of Microsoft lent their technology from the HoloLens to all of these different companies. All of these headsets are available now, and they're actually starting to come out with version 2s, which is really interesting. High-end VR, you got the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and PlayStation. Interesting fact about a Canadian company, Vervana, they just sold to Apple for $30 million. And the reason that I think that Apple bought them, they solved a very interesting problem. And that problem is, when I have a hologram in 3 dimensions, if that hologram is out in front of me and somebody or something is in front of it, they figured out the occlusion. So does it go in front of it or does it go behind it? And that's a really difficult problem to solve. They solved it, Apple bought them. So there's a lot of problems to be solved in VR and AR, and as the problems get solved, these companies are going to get acquired or be worth a lot of money. Augmented reality, these are kind of more the industrial safety glasses that give you kind of pop-up information around you. It's not so much giving you context in mixed reality where it knows where you are, but it can give you heads-up displays, mainly for pick and pack, for industrial applications. You look at a machine and it gives you the instructions on how to fix it. This is really, really a big market for industrial use cases. Mixed reality, this is where it takes the world into context around you. So HoloLens, Meta 2, Magic Leap. Magic Leap just announced another $400 million on top of their $1.9 billion raise. So now they're up to $2.3 billion. Wow, without a product. So that's pretty awesome. Their glasses look pretty cool, and they had Shaq wearing a pair. So, I mean, you know, they're doing something right. These are Intel's Jaunt glasses. Check it out.
Didn't make you look like a techno cyborg jerk. That's exactly what Intel is making. These smart glasses are called Vaunt, and they're completely different from what you're expecting. What's amazing about these glasses is they look normal, and they feel really light in my head. They only weigh about 50 grams. They're designed to do just one thing, show you simple, basic information in one of your eyes. It has this little red monochrome projector that shines an image on a holographic mirror thing, which then bounces it directly into my eyeball, so I don't have to focus on it, it's just sort of down there. But the best part is that if you're not looking just slightly down at the display, it completely disappears so it's not distracting you. The other thing is you're not going to be tapping and swiping and doing whatever you might do like you did with Google Glass. There's no camera here. It's meant to be not intrusive, not annoying in social situations. But you can do little subtle things, like if a notification comes in and you want to read it, you can just kind of look over and it'll slide in, or you can dismiss it like that.
I'm not going to let the whole video play, but you can Google the Intel Vaunt. This is a Skunkworks project. There's really no use for it yet, but think of it like Google Glass that doesn't make you look like a glass hole. Mobile-based AR is going to be what revolutionizes and kickstarts this industry. So Apple introduced AR Kit in June for developers and then September for the public, and that enabled 600 million devices overnight with high-powered AR that knows that's a floor, and now they've just introduced wall plane detection. So now you can start creating AR applications in 3D. So what this is, what Google, Google's AR Core and Apple's AR Kit are the training wheels for developers to learn to start programming in 3D. And that's really what gets me excited, because instead of being tethered to a 2D screen, we're really creating a 3D world now. And it's not like a 3D TV where we're trying to make a 2D screen look 3D. We're talking like I can walk around holograms. I can have a digital version of everybody sitting there in the crowd, so we could fill in the crowd with digital avatars. You don't know which one's real, which one's not. Really exciting stuff. But it's going to be led by phone-based AR. Some of the AR portals, you've got AR Kit, AR Core. We actually developed Web AR based on a WebGL platform, so we introduced that back in October. Really exciting stuff. And if you want to really get nerdy, there's all the different AR things and what they do and what they don't do. And take a quick picture. There you go. I'll make this available to everybody. So some of the development engines, you've got Unity, Unreal, Improbable. These are all the kind of the coding things, what you need to learn in order to start making this technology. Unity just raised $400 million, and Improbable raised $500 million. So these investors realize that the tools necessary to create this technology is really important. Social VR is going to be a very big thing. VR chat is kind of on an upswing right now, where you can go in and have a conversation with random avatars. Sometimes they're 10-foot robots. Other times they're 3-foot orcs. You can represent yourself, but that's kind of boring. High fidelity is kind of. Has anybody heard of Second Life? Second Life, the guy who invented Second Life, or started Second Life, left there and started High Fidelity. And then if you look over, Sansar is actually Second Life's VR environment. So you've got Facebook Spaces, Sansar, AltSpace, High Fidelity, VR Chat. These are all social, and I think social VR is really, really exciting, and it's ripe for disruption, and it's ripe for getting people on board. So building for these things is going to be amazing. 360 cameras is kind of the gateway drug to VR. These are all consumer cameras. They're all under $1,000, and they're all shooting in 4K. When we first started filming things, we had to 3D print GoPro rigs, and then, you'd shoot on 6 cameras, and then you'd have to stitch every scene and every camera together. It was a disaster. Now you can do all of that on your phone, and you can edit on your phone as well, which is incredible. Prosumer cameras, these are kind of one step up. You've got the InstaPro 360. We just got one of those. It's an 8K 360 camera. It's under $5,000, really amazing. Samsung's is the only kind of comparable up there. It's about $11,000 right now. The key with the Samsung one is you can link them all together, which is really exciting. And you can link them, and have, let's say for example, you're doing a hockey game. You can have them in different places so the viewer can say, I want to stand by the box, or I can stand by the goalie. It's really cool stuff. Pro cameras, Jaunt, Nokia, Sense 9, these are like super high-end cameras. You can replace the actual cameras. It's more just a configuration thing, so really exciting stuff that you can get right in and get super nerdy in 360. This is really cool.
Well, kind of virtual mic, really. This is our Digital Human project, which is a collaboration of a whole lot of companies. Epic Games, 3Lateral, Cubic Motion, Tensun, the Wiki Human team, Sydney Uni, FX Guide, a whole bunch of people coming together to produce, a virtual human. And not only a virtual human, but one rendered in real time, puppeteered or driven in real time, rendered in real time, and not only that, but at 90 frames a second in stereo in VR.
Okay, so how nerdy is that? Like, think about that. That's not a real dude. It's a real guy talking. He's got a bunch of cameras attached to his face, and he's puppeteering that quality of avatar. And we're in 2018. By the time this kind of hits mass adoption in 2021, 2022, we're going to have figured this all out. So if you noticed right at the very end, he kind of looked a little fake. It's kind of this uncanny valley type effect where it's not quite real enough. They're going to fix all that, I'm sure. One of the things you have to understand about where we're going and why this is, such a data-intensive and really difficult problems to solve is that we're going from pixels to voxels. So a voxel is a 3D pixel. And being able to compute in that generates enormous amounts of data. And I'll get to that in a second. I'll show you some really cool stuff. One of the other terms you need to know that is going to solve the problem of the data is foveated rendering. So basically, if everybody looks at me and you look out here, or here, look at me and then look at the sign. Try to read the sign as you're looking at me. It's impossible. It's out of focus and it's blurry. Your eyes only focus in about 5%. So the fovea and that really tight area, once all these glasses have eye tracking, they know exactly where you're looking and they can render only what you're looking at in real time. I actually tried one of these demos and it's imperceptible to the human eye now. The eye tracking is so fast. So being able to render, it's called foveated rendering, being able to render only what you see in full. Because imagine rendering in 360 around you in full HD or 8K is going to be ridiculous. So foveated rendering is a must for this. Uses of VR and AR technology, this is going to touch literally every part of our lives, from engineering to entertainment, retail to industrial, healthcare, education. All of these parts of human life are going to be touched by this, just like mobile phones, computers. Every single part of human life uses these. One of the things we're working on, and after 2 years of kind of being in this, I've been doing it about 3.5 years, we realized where our kind of specialty lies, and that's why we're working with Sheridan College on this. We're going to be taking physical assets and making them into 3D assets in super high quality. And right now we're still working on that. But if you want to see a quick demo, you can pull out your phone, go to metaverse.com/3D on any browser, and you can try our 3D player. We have a web 3D player. It's one of the first in the world, and we're going to be focusing on the e-commerce market. These are some of the projects we've done. We did an augmented reality menu for Boston Pizza, and I actually spoke at the Restaurants Canada show yesterday. It was great. We're showing them all different things. We're going to be doing photogrammetry of food, making really high-resolution 3D assets of food. We've done, this one's not going to work, but anyway, basically we did a big, huge poster, 8-foot poster where this robot jumped out and shot everybody. which was very untimely after the Vegas incident. So we're going to make it blow bubbles instead.
Portal, so I can
We made this
show you
AR
some of the
travel
amazing
portal, and to
things
give you a
you'll
quick
experience
understanding of what
if you
that
join
does.
us on a Genesis Holidays Majestic Cruise.
So you can drop a portal into your world and walk through it.
8-day cruise of the Adriatic and Mediterranean seas. This cruise has something for the whole
Then you can look
family,
back and
from
see
beautiful
through
beaches to
the portal.
excursions to spectacular historical sites off the coast of Italy.
Pretty cool, right?
As well as world-class amenities aboard the ship. Take
So
a
we
look
went
around,
through
and I'll be
2
just outside
iPads
when you get back.
making this.
Any
They literally blew up. So I wouldn't recommend that to anybody just yet until we figure out how to make it smooth. Browser-based web AR. So we did this project for Shoppers Drug Mart where they wanted web AR. They wanted a frictionless system with no apps. So we created web AR, and it was one of the first commercial web AR projects in the world. And then that's what led to our web 3D player. Augmented reality business cards. We made business cards that explode, because who doesn't want exploding business cards, right? Virtual try-ons. We made a virtual try-on. We're doing a POC right now with a large sunglasses company, and it's all going to be on web. So you just go on their website. You can try on any pair of glasses. It's pretty awesome. We made the Samsung virtual reality photo booth. I'll show you the video. And of course, you can share it on Facebook. So Facebook announced 360 support about a year and a half ago. And so they have native 360. You know, sometimes you're looking at Facebook and then all of a sudden you can, oh, cool. They announced 3D on Friday last week. So now Facebook supports native 3D, and you have to use a GLTF format. But yeah, they announced their 3D. So the world is moving to 3D slowly, but it's exciting. V-commerce and photogrammetry, this is what we're working on now. We started doing this was about 2.5 years ago we did this, and really it always stuck with us as a problem that needs to be solved, so that's the problem we're solving. Now I'm going to bang through, these are not ours, so I'm just going to go through these really quick, but these are all great examples of how other brands are using VR and AR right now, so to give you some ideas of how this can be used across all different verticals. Retail, L'Oreal is using this in their beauty lab so they can pre-visualize what a store shelf will look like. Diesel did a really cool experience where you had to walk across this ledge in VR, and you're on the side of a building, so it really freaked people out. Metavrse, really amazing Canadian company. They're allowing you to try on makeup using your phone. Really cool fun fact about Metavrse is they just signed a deal with Samsung and announced that all the S9 phones that are coming out will have Metavrse built into them. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations to those guys. They actually did the Sephora one as well, where you can try on the virtual makeup try-on. I was on one of these sites the other day trying on virtual makeup. I do not look good in virtual makeup at all. I should put a picture in there. Ugh, scary. IKEA's been working in VR and AR for a long time, probably about 5 years, and they've did virtual kitchens. They did one really cool one, which I think you can download on Steam now, where it's called Kitchen VR, and you can make pancakes in a kitchen. So it's kind of cool. They realized that putting people in an IKEA kitchen was cool, and you could change the countertops and floors, but doing something, cooking in a kitchen, is really how you get a feel for how the kitchen flows. So they made it so you have to go to the fridge, you have to get the eggs, you have to get all the things, mix it, make a pancake, flip it, and you're done. So IKEA's been doing this. All of the knowledge that they do, and the reason they got in early, and one of the benefits to getting in early for them, was that when ARKit launched, they launched IKEA Place that same day. And so they're always going to be ahead of people, way ahead. And that's why I encourage businesses to get in early, start making some mistakes, learn what works, what doesn't work, so that when the time comes, you can be ahead of the game, not behind it. Lowe's is really all over this. They actually just introduced a new one where it's like a power blower, and you're in VR blowing leaves, and you blow the leaves out of the way. It's really cool. They had their HoloLens, so you can actually see what your kitchen's going to look like in HoloLens. It's really neat stuff. They use in-store navigation using AR. I don't think they rolled this out on scale, but they did tests with it. McDonald's A couple years ago, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but you could take your Happy Meal box and make it into a Google Cardboard. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if I want a greasy box in my head, but you know. McDonald's did a farm tour promoting their sustainable growth of products, and taking you on a farm tour, see where the products come from, which was kind of neat. This was a huge hit in UK. Merrill did a really cool VR hiking experience where you were walking across a rope bridge. And so in the store, they had a rope bridge, and there was no holes in it. But in the game, as you're walking across, the rope bridge is moving, and then like a thing falls, and you hear the sound, and people are doing this, trying to walk across. It really gives people the feeling of being on the side of a mountain. It's really exciting. And that's what VR can do. It can put you in places where you're not. This was another one, really neat one. Google this one. It's North Face VR. They basically put people in here, and they're in VR, and then all of a sudden, they're on a dog sled, and all of a sudden, they hooked them up to real dogs and took them for this tour of the mall. Dogs running through the mall. Yeah, crazy. This was one of the very first experiences. Patron did a VR tour, and it basically flew you through the fields where they grow the agave plants, through their factory, but you were seeing the world through the eyes of a bee. And it was really neat because you're flying through their warehouse, and then there's a door in front of you, and you kind of duck down and fly through the lock hole into the next room. It was a really, really great experience, and if you can find it, jump on it and try it. Jack Daniels did a 360 VR tour of their facility. It's really, really well done. It was very static, but the after effects they did, they made it so they're charcoaling one of the barrels, and the sparks are coming out around you and stuff. It was really nice. This is really cool use of AR for marketing. So basically, 99 crimes.
When the bars of man impede. For no
They took their
cage
label,
can hold
you
that
point your
which
phone
is
at it, and it comes to
boundless.
life.
No man stop that which is fated to be.
It's a cool party trick. Grab a bottle of 99 crimes wine, bring it to a party, and be like, hey, check it out. It's awesome, right? Chick-fil-A put cows in VR. Don't know what that's all about. Our augmented reality menu that we made again. This is a weird one. Check this out.
You like games? Sorry about that. Tell me, do you like games? Welcome to my game. Me, Colonel Sanders. I'm watching your every move. This game will teach you how to make my original recipe chicken. The hard way. Excuse me. All right, Gary. Until you learn how to make my chicken right, you will not be allowed to leave.
Apparently, this was an internal training thing that leaked. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that, but it's available on Steam now, so you can go and learn how to make the Kentucky Fried Chicken the hard way. This is really cool. Check this out. Some friends of ours called Kabak out of New York. They're doing augmented reality menus. That's not a real burger. It's all in AR. Isn't that neat? Pretty cool, right? Travel and tourism. So virtual tours of facilities. This was one of the ones I really liked, and they did a really good job because they understood that doing a 360 tour is not just for people with a headset. That's cool, but there's not a lot of people with headsets. They built it into their website, and it's actually a really, really great experience. It shows you the whole ship, but in stunning quality. It's really, really, really well done. Amadeus announced a VR travel booking where you could book your travel through VR. I think it was vaporware. I don't think it actually came out. Marriott introduced VR room service. I'm not even going to lie. This was our idea. We put it on their website, and then they sent me one of these boxes where it was like, hey, thanks for the idea. We did it without you. I was like, thanks. Anyway, it's a cool idea, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, it was really cool. They sent it up to your room, and then you had a VR headset for your room. We did the math on this. It's impossible to scale this at the prices, and at the time, this was about 3 years ago. So we did the math. We're like, this doesn't scale. This is not something we can do. They also did this, VR tourism. This is about 3 years ago, maybe 4 now, where they put this in Times Square, and you could try VR in Times Square, and it would teleport you to somewhere else. This is by far the weirdest thing I've seen in VR. This is Rob Riggle, who's the CMO of Holiday Inn, and it's literally a camera of him in the shower. He's like, hey, how you doing? Look around. I'm in the shower at the Holiday Inn. I don't even know. Media and entertainment, this is probably the biggest one that's been used right now because, all the Hollywood types and all of the, gaming people, they jump into this right away. Intel announced their RealSense and Real 3 or TrueSense or RealSense, Real 3D, I don't know. Here, just watch the video.
Scene.
This is a snippet
exact
from
same
their
scene. Captured volumetrically.
CES
So instead
keynote.
of the one camera, we just combined all 100 and the petabytes of data that it took to go produce this. It's a fantastic example, we believe, of what's possible when we bring this new era of data to the world of filmmaking. So let's take a look at that volumetric version.
So as a filmmaker or somebody who's making media, how would you like to have that? Your audience or you can put a camera anywhere. You can. One of the demos they did was you can be the horse. So it was like you're the horse riding through the scene. This is crazy. How much time have I got? Huh? No more? I'm okay? Okay.
Usually say 1 or 2 minutes, but yeah.
I'm going. Okay, I'm going to go fast. 360 Film, if you really want to try some really great VR, Felix and Paul, another Canadian company, they're doing some amazing work. There's a tour of the White House, and I was like, so what? It's a tour of the White House. It's really good. It's really cool. You get to see the whole inside of the White House. National Geographic is doing everything. They're doing a bunch of stuff, sharks. You can swim with sharks. Really cool. So this is kind of like VR. Samsung had a slogan, VR, do what you can't. And I thought that was really cool. Things I don't want to climb Mount Everest, and I definitely don't want to swim with sharks. But I'll do it in VR. Awesome. Empathy pieces. New York Times has jumped all over VR and AR, and if you want to download something really cool, the New York Times AR app allows you to see different things in the Olympics. So far, it's only the Olympics they've done. Another one that's come out just recently is the swimsuit edition in AR, so you can drop the models in AR. Kind of cool. The Displaced. This raised awareness of people from around the world that are being displaced by war, famine, drought, stuff like that. So it's really, really a great way to create empathy for stakeholders around the world. Live events in VR are going to be a big thing. The NBA, NASCAR, hockey, all partnered up with NextVR, so they're going to be able to give you courtside seats from all different views. You can even ride inside a NASCAR and race and look back and, yeah, I'm in the car. This is really cool. Mission Impossible, they did a thing where you were literally strapped into the side of an airplane flying through the air. Like, people are getting crazy with this. There's a hand gliding one now that you can do in VR. PlayStation, did a huge headset for the launch of their PlayStation VR. Coachella last year, so the first year they did live streaming 360, which was kind of cool. It was a bit laggy, but very cool. Then last year, in their gift box, when you bought your tickets, you got a box, and the box was all AR enabled, and it was all animated, and it was really cool. You put your phone, and the whole thing came to life. Really cool stuff. This was our photo booth, our VR photo booth we used for the launch of the Timeless show on Chorus. So we built it to look like one of their big time machines. Industrial use cases, I'm going to fly through this because it's not the world I play in, but it's really cool stuff. Check this out. I know, right? Super exciting. You can train on a meter. Oh yeah, gas meter training. It's like the music is like, yeah. But think about it. As more and more, seasoned veterans of different industries start retiring, you're going to need to bring on younger people to do those jobs. And this is a fast and effective way to train people. Really, really cool stuff. And if you look at that, they got this really amazing music, but the environment looks real. You can test people. You know where they're looking. It gives trainers unprecedented knowledge about the people that are learning. And when you're training, you can't look at your phone. Yay. kind of stuck to your head. So another one that we saw was really cool is crane training. You can learn how to drive a crane. A friend of mine did 1 hour of training and then actually got out and drove a crane. And he said, no problem. Amazing. Here, you want to take a picture of that? There you go. Caterpillar is using AR for maintenance. You put on a pair of glasses and it walks you through the steps of maintaining a vehicle. Data visualization is going to be huge. A company called Look and BCG, or BGC rather, they created holographic mine maps. So you can look at a mine site in 3D in HoloLens, and then you can actually stand in the mine site at any point and look around. It's really cool. Discovery's using VR to take you places where you've never been. Go inside a mining site, check it out. All sorts of neat stuff. Airlines are using this for entertainment, for promotions, for training, for tours. This is a company out of Toronto, Thinking Box. They do amazing work, and they created a United Airlines tour of the facility and the lounges. Holographic air traffic control is going to be a thing, training people on this. And really, beyond training, imagine being able to do air traffic control in 3 dimensions, where instead of seeing them little dots flying the thing, you're actually seeing the airplanes and where they are in perspective. That's pretty cool. Lockheed Martin, obviously Boeing, Lockheed Martin, they're all using VR and AR for training, and they're all using AR as well for maintenance. Automotive world has really adopted this. Audi is all over VR and AR. They're using it in their showrooms. Check this out.
That's the Quattro coaster. A new way to enjoy Quattro technology, wherever and whenever you want. Be your own engineer and create an individual experience by designing your own road. Drive through all 4 seasons. Take sharp turns and climb steep hills. Check out the innovative technology and try it yourself. Download the Audi Quattro Coaster app and enjoy the AR experience today.
So that's using AR Kit, and you can build your own track in your own house and drive that. I'm out of time, unfortunately. I'm going to scroll through this. VR Art, Volvo, Lexus, Nissan. Police are using it as an anti-distraction driving training tool. You pull up your phone, you crash. Health and medical, it's being used for surgeries to tell exactly where to put the thing. Surgery assists, anatomy training, acupuncture training, pre-surgery visual, giving kids the ability to see what they're going to go through before they do it. Dentistry, I don't want to look at the dentist, I want to look at, Mars. These guys, Excedrin did a thing where what it's like to have a migraine, really cool stuff. Guided meditation, real estate, pre-visualizations, condo tours, retail tours, pre-visualization of condos, legal insurance. They're actually using it in forensics and taking a 360 camera so you can see the scene and show people in the courtrooms. Financial, they're using it for banking to promote Bank of America. I don't know why. Education and training. Walmart's using it across their training, and you can learn to play piano on HoloLens and remote assistance. And this is my last video.
Virtual
Go.
reality ends, real reality begins. Experience the NHL Centennial exhibit in RR. When you're looking at Sidney Crosby's gloves, you're looking at Sidney Crosby's gloves.
I'm looking at Sidney Crosby's gloves. How?
RR lets you see things that are actually there. Real reality, only at the Hockey Hall of Fame.
All right, thank you very much, guys. My name is Alan, and if you want to learn some more about these things, take a quick picture of this. This is really important if you want to get some different insights, so thank you very much. Grab that in 3, 2, 1. And if you want to stay connected with us, our website's metavrse.com. Please add me on LinkedIn. I post every single day, and I'm very active on LinkedIn. Please add me there, and if you want to email me, bye. And make sure when you're doing VR to have fun. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Alan. Alan,
okay.
So we'll just take 2 questions. The first is, well, these don't include the 2 questions, but it's not a fad. The numbers when we started a few years ago, are they matching what they predicted the market will be? Have they changed at all, slightly, lower, higher?
Yeah, so to be honest, there was a couple outliers, and actually normally I put a slide of the predictions. Some companies predicted, oh my God, VR is going to be $300 trillion. They were wrong. And there was a company called Digi Capital, and they did a report saying VR was going to be 150 billion by 2020. They've since rescinded that, and that's where they've come up with the 108 billion number. So even though they kind of overestimated it in the beginning, I think they're all starting to kind of fall in line, and most of the predictions now are pretty accurate. The industry's growing at about 130% per year. That's pretty stable right now. Last year it was a $7 billion industry. This year it's anticipated to be about a $20 billion industry. Next year it goes up and up and up.
And the other interesting thing I found through your presentations, and it's a lot of work we're doing also, is photogrammetry, photoreal. What is the definition of VR? Is it sitting down here? If you hear James Cameron speak, it's not that. It's getting up, walking around, engaging in
The
it.
Intel volumetric capture thing is just mind-boggling. Imagine, okay, so you've got 100 cameras in this whole space. Now you can be anywhere as a viewer in the space and walk around while the movie's occurring with you. So you can be walking through a movie scene. Now, it also generates a petabyte of data per minute, you know, so they've got to figure that out. And then you've got to deliver that and give everybody the ability to have agency. They haven't figured that out. And it's all going to be done in cloud computing real time. Haven't figured that out. I did a talk at the 5G conference. Those guys are salivating. How much data are you going to use? Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.